my YouTube channel. Just move my camera down a bit so you can see me better. So in my last couple of videos, I've talked about why we're here and the different timelines that are available to us. Today I'd like to talk to you about cubes of consciousness. It's our cubes of consciousness that are creating the timelines. And this is why it's so important that we're careful about what we give our attention to. But what's going on at the moment is we're in a cycle where we're moving through a huge eon, an age just like we've moved before from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age to the Iron Age to the Piscean Age. We're going into what's called the Golden Age. And the Golden Age is the golden ray, the healing ray that people refer to as the Christ consciousness as well. And it happens around about every 26,000 years or so, give or take. So what happens in that time is our collective consciousness has an opportunity to make a massive leap forward. And I'm talking about fishes in the sea becoming birds in the air, that kind of leap. And in order for us to make this leap, we need to look into our past. We need to look into our consciousness, what we've got in our cubes of consciousness from our own life, from our past lives, our multidimensional lives, and our ancestors' lives. Because all of them are creating the illusion that we experience and see as the world around us. So how does that work? Well, every single thing that you see, sense, experience gets stored in your consciousness. It's like photographs are taken repetitively, and those photographs get stored in a kind of filing system I refer to as your cubes of consciousness. So I like to imagine the photographic memories are like pixels that you would see. We've all seen pixels, pixelated screens at some point in our lives. And those pixels hold every single experience that we've ever been through in this life, in previous lives, in future lives, our ancestors, and so on and so forth. And if you look at what's going on in the world around you, there's a lot of chaos out there. And it's because the turbulence of the epoch that we're in this 26,000 year cycle, is an opportunity for us to clear and cleanse our cubes of consciousness. And those cubes of consciousness are similar to the bits of information in your computer, for example. It's all those different bits of information create what you see on the screen. And it's the same with these pixels in what we experience in our lives. So at this point in history, we've got an opportunity to level up and move into a higher dimensional frequency. So we've got the opportunity to move from 3D to 5D to 7D to 9D and so on, depending on how much work we put into cleansing our own cubes of consciousness. It's a bit like moving up to the penthouse in an apartment block. Imagine there's an apartment block with 15 or 16 floors, and the first and second floor are the basement, the car parking space. Third floor is a third dimension, fourth floor is the fourth dimension, fifth is the fifth dimension, and so on and so forth. Lots of people have talked about 5D being the heaven on earth experience. But it's only the beginning of moving into higher frequencies. So the more we clean our cubes of consciousness by going into meditation, by having any kind of complementary therapy, by using crystals, by having reflexology or massage or anything that's improving your mental, physical, spiritual health, is all raising your consciousness, changing the frequency at which you vibrate at. And as your frequency is what's projecting your reality, and our collective frequency is what's projecting the whole reality, it's important to take a look at what's going on around you. Those different floors in the apartment block represent dimensional levels. So let's say in the third On the third floor, there may be a lot of violence and there may be wars and things like that. And we start to take these things out of our consciousness, which we've inherited from our ancestors. And we're moving up through the fourth dimension. There's a lot of conspiracy stuff in that one. So, it's there, it wakes us up to this stuff going on, but it's one timeline. And we can move through into the fifth dimension and things start to change. We may become more aware of angelic beings, and as we move on and move up into the sixth, maybe even extraterrestrial beings and the archangels and things like that, and galactic beings as we move up through the different levels, through the different dimensional levels. And I've said before about how important it is to be careful not to get stuck in the 4D and the 5D level in that conspiracy. It's kind of addictive when you start to find out what's been going on and how our minds have, been trapped into certain things and how we've been hoodwinked into believing certain things and the control that's out there. And it's a temptation, and it's a kind of entity that hooks you back in to want to know more and more and more. And then you get stuck in that level of consciousness. And there may be people around you that are already awake. There may be people that are not awake. The higher your frequency, the more enlightened you are. And there are different levels of enlightenment. It's important not to judge people depending on whatever, what level they're at as well. But imagine that you're maybe a 6th, 7th, 8th, or even 9th dimensional consciousness, and that you meditate every day. You've been working on your trauma. You've been working on your false belief systems. You're moving out of the religious dogma phase in your life. And you've got to go down sometimes to ground level, to the 3D level, to go to the stores, to do what you need to do, to go to the gym, just live life. There may be people that are just waking up and are in the 4D level or 5D that are into the conspiracy stuff and all of these nasty things that are going on in that timeline, trying to pull you in. Come and have a look at this. Be careful, because it's best to say, I've been through that level and I've moved past it politely and not get dragged back into it. Because basically anything we spend 3 seconds on and name, we're pulling those cubes of consciousness that we've cleaned out with our, our healing and our meditation. We're pulling them back into our consciousness. So it's really important that we learn how to protect our minds. And one of the easiest ways of doing that, particularly if you're watching things on screen, is when you wake up in the morning to set your intentions for the day. And your intention may be, I'm going to have a really happy, productive day filled with love and joy. That's one intention. Another important intention would be, anything I see today on a screen, I intend to observe and not absorb on any level of my consciousness. And that's not just about looking, because you can close your eyes, but you can still hear things. You can still feel things through your energy field. So it's important to set your intentions to protect yourself. And if you've got children, to protect them as well and ask for that protection around them. Because we're being constantly bombarded with information. And it's referred to as attention economy. This is what social media is about, all these, likes, and people looking to see if they've got more likes today or more followers today. It's all feeding the ego, and it's all about attention economy, they call it. When we're in this cycle at the moment, and it's really important that we choose the timeline we want to be on. And if you haven't watched my video about timelines that I talked about, that was last week, it's worth watching. Choose your timeline. Be conscious about where you want to go in your life. People spend maybe 3 or 4 months thinking about where they want to go on vacation and what they're going to do on vacation, but we don't think about what we want to do with our lives. We just think we're just rolling along and it just happens. And we're powerful. We can make a big difference when we're consciously taking part in that, when we're setting our intentions every day, when we're realizing at the end of the day that we need to cut ties with people and release and close those channels to everyone that we've been mixing with and mixing our energy in in the daytime as well. So there's a lot of ways where we can take control of our lives, and your cubes of consciousness are the software in the machine. Everything that our consciousness experiences and perceives is stored in your cubes of consciousness. So they're like 2D images that your consciousness has an experience, and it grabs a group of those 2D images and turns them into a 3D image, and that 3D image is what we perceive as the physical world around us. But it's not really physical, it's not really solid. Anyone who knows anything about physics, if you go into any atom or or cell in your body, 99.999% of it is actually empty space. So what appears to be physical solid matter is pretty much empty space. It's filled with ethers. And the ethers are the fabric of creation. They're the fabric of the air, the fire, the water, the elements, the earth, our physical bodies. Everything is made of ethers. So when you get right down to it, these things can be changed. And this is where meditation comes in and is really useful and really important, and where healing comes in. People that have joined my Patreon channel know that I open something I call the One Portal, which is the central core of creation. And it's a double-sided black and white hole. Anyone that's read the military document that was released in 1983, and it's available online, called the Gateway Process, they will know what that portal is. That portal's opened in my Patreon channel, and it clears out cubes of consciousness that we don't need anymore. So it's clearing things from our ancestors, it's clearing things from our past lives, our multidimensional lives, our earlier life in this life, that are holding us back. And then we go into a 20-minute meditation, which is just sending out absolute peace and tranquility and bliss as a group, as a collective, which is overriding a lot of the chaos that's out there in the world at the moment. So the more of us that come together, we're kind of like a beautiful hive of bees, and we're just sending out that peace vibe. It's really powerful. Every single problem that there is on this earth could be healed in seconds if a big enough group of people learn to come together and meditate together, like we're doing on my Patreon channel. So if you haven't joined yet, you're welcome to join. It's only $5 a month. And I've made a commitment that that $5 is not going to increase. And that's going to be at least one meditation every month where we come together. And it's no agenda for anything else other than for the highest good of all. So the portal's opened. You can release into that portal what needs to be released from your system, and your higher self is working with you to help you do that. The more of us that come together, the more of a difference we're making. I went into a big store today because I was looking for a chemical to do some cleaning with. And I was very pleasantly surprised to see that nearly all of the, particularly the girls' clothes, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, things like that, had positive messages on, like be kind and motivate one another, and just message after message that were positive. And I was really surprised, to be honest. And I just knew it was the universe letting me know that this change is upon us, because I could just see all these children with these fantastic messages on their t-shirts that are uplifting one another. Really powerful. So just think about who you've got in your life. Because the 5 people that you spend most of your time with is what you resonate at that frequency. It's important to be around people that lift you up. And there's a saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. We all need to look for somebody to lift us up, for somebody to help us learn something new. Life's for learning, that's what we're here for. In this particular epoch, we're here to let go of our shortcomings. We're here to clear the leftover memories, the morphic resonances in these pixels in your cubes of consciousness from hundreds, thousands of years of barbaric behavior, greed, materialism, war, racism, sexism, the slaughter of innocent creatures for man's game, the destruction of the planet for greed. All of these things are on the agenda to be healed. And every single person is part of the whole. Every single one of you is powerful. Every single one of you has got a choice every second of every day of whether you're going to raise your frequency or lower your frequency, whether you're going to lift someone else up or put them down. So it's important that we understand every thought, word, and deed is making a difference to the whole. It's making pixels in our cubes of consciousness that don't just disappear because we've said it and thinking it, it's been said and done, it's gone. It's not gone. Every single thought, every single word, and every single deed is recorded. And it stays in the loop unless we heal it, unless we delete it. And that's what my Patreon channel is about. You don't need any special skills. Just come along, sit with us, join in the meditation. You just need to give permission for the one portal and your higher consciousness to help you release what's in your cubes of consciousness into the portal, and we fill that space with source energy. So every time we do that, we're lifting up lots and lots of other people. One enlightened person counterbalances tens or even hundreds of thousands of people that are not working towards enlightenment. So start to think about the people around you. Are they lifting you up? Are you lifting them up? Are you working together to lift one another up, to help other people? Because lots of people are getting a calling at the moment, and we're in a critical 3-year period where 60% historical change is happening on the planet. 60%, that's huge. This 3 years out of an 11-year cycle. So if you're getting a pull to do something new, to start a group, to start writing a book, to start going on the internet and sharing your gifts or your knowledge with other people, now is the time to do it. Particularly the men out there. Men need help. The honourable men that are out there need to step up. We need you to step up. There's so many more women doing the work than men, and the youth need the guidance. They need the male and female guidance. So if you are a man and you're thinking about starting a group, now is the time to do it. Or sharing your skills with the young guys. Now is the time to do it. You're needed. Please don't ignore it any longer. For the women out there, I've got a Wonder Woman webinar coming up. If you haven't heard of that, it's $5 to join. It's just an hour. And there's going to be a special offer at the end of the webinar, but I will be opening the one portal in that webinar as well. And it's going to be clearing a lot of cubes of consciousness. There's also my animal communication course on offer at the moment as well, if you're interested in healing animals and communication. So that's all I wanted to share today. I'll just do a quick meditation with people as well. Let's just have 5 minutes quiet together before we finish. So if you're ready, just close your eyes for me and take a nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose, all of the way down into your abdomen, and breathing out through your mouth 5 or 6 times. Just focus on your breathing and my voice, feeling more relaxed with every breath you take. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. Just let go of any noises in the background as you focus on your breathing and my voice, feeling more relaxed with every breath you take. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. And let's just sit quiet for 5 minutes. I'm going to put the timer on my phone. And just hold an image of peace in the world, in your mind. And just see peace, whatever gives you that feeling. It could be staring at a lake that's really flat and calm at sunrise. Starting now. go, 5 minutes goes quickly. So just grounding you now, just sending roots down your spine. Imagine you've got roots growing down your spine from the back of your heart, down your legs, and you've got bare feet on the grass on a sunny day. And imagine sending those roots down into the earth, nice and grounded. And then coming back to full consciousness on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, eyes open, wide awake, fully conscious, and back with us. Even 5 minutes makes a difference to how you feel. It's a good practice. Eventually you'll get to maybe 20 minutes, where you're doing 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. It makes a big difference to your life. So just think about your spiritual, personal development in this epoch and how important it is, and how you're moving through that apartment block. And every time you go up a level, it's like the 5D level, the 5th floor, you get a balcony and you start to see more. And then you go up into the 6th dimension, and your balcony and your deck gets bigger, and the 7th dimension, and it gets bigger till you've got a balcony all the way around your apartment. And eventually you're up high, you've got this huge deck, this huge balcony where you can see and you understand more because you're in a higher level of consciousness. What that does, it brings your higher self into your heart center. It eliminates the lower ego traits that are selfish and makes such a difference in your life. The people that you start to meet, the way you feel, taking care of yourself, more heart connected you feel, the more content you feel in life. So take care, guys, and thanks for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you all again next week at the same time, 7 p.m. Pacific on a Thursday, and Captain Wrinkles will be back on Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend and a great week. I'll see you all again soon. Oh, and if you've got anything you would like me to talk about, please feel free to drop a comment in below, and Catherine will let me know about that. And remember to subscribe and click the little bell if you want notifications when we go in live. Thanks. Bye for now.